Hey, how's it going? I'm still Jeremy, and I'm biking along the Okawa River in Osaka, which I did before on a video, but that was on that side of the river. Now today we're on this side of the river. It's a bit windy today. Hopefully the microphone is not being assaulted by the wind. And anyway, today's topic for this vlog, well, there's two things. The physical goal for this vlog as I'm biking is to see how far this path goes on this side of the river. And the topic for today's video is how I ended up in Japan. Because I have, what's this guy doing? Teaching English here in Japan for since about 2004. How did I end up here teaching English, living in Japan and teaching English? That was never part of my life's plan, because I never had a life's plan, and I still don't, and I'm happy about that. But Anthony Bailey from the channel Running for My Best Life, he was asking me, how did I end up in Japan? So back in 2002, I think, I had only left America once, and that was in 1998. I spent 1 month in Scandinavia. Does that say don't go there? I somehow saw something online. It's the early internet, 2002. I'm going to hit my head on this. Bam. I saw something online that you could teach English. I was like reading, I guess, like travel and kind of backpacking type websites or something, whatever existed on the internet in 2002 in that space. And I saw that there was such a thing as teaching English overseas, and I thought, wow, that's great. Let's watch this train go by. And I thought, well, I'm pretty good at languages. I still speak Spanish pretty well. I will go to a country in South America. And I settled on Chile. I thought, perfect. Chile is a very, very, very interesting country. You know, it's that long, thin one, 4,000 kilometers tall and 100 kilometers wide, or whatever it is in South America. All kinds of amazing glaciers and fjords and mountains and just little villages and islands. It's just a great, great, great country. And so, remember my sister one year, around that time, even bought me a Lonely Planet Chile guide, which I used to read as if it were literature. I just read, oh, wow, look at these places. And then I found out you have to have a teaching certificate to teach in Chile. The government won't let you teach there and come there to teach if you don't have one. I didn't have one, and I didn't feel like buying one. So I started looking around elsewhere. And I settled, so it had to be a place that had like decent salary, because otherwise I couldn't like fund myself. I didn't have any money at that time. I couldn't fund myself living somewhere. Like if you go to like, you know, Rwanda or Uzbekistan or something, you might get like a little tiny nominal salary, but you're really doing it as a volunteer, which is a nice thing to do, and I would still like to do that someday maybe, but at that time I needed actual money. So I settled on either South Korea or Japan. And they were kind of, either one would do. They had like about the same salary, similar salaries, and the thing that settled it for me was that, at that time at least, the English schools in Korea, called Hagwon, had a reputation for sometimes they would be a little stingy with actually paying you. They would say they're going to give you a salary, but then they would find some reason not to, or whatever. Or the salary would be late, and things like that. Not all of them, obviously. This is what I was talking about. This is the end of the road. But is it really? I see a little dirt path. This is different than the last time I was here, but it's kind of similar. Oh, we cut through here. All right. So anyway, I thought, well, that's not cool. I don't want to go somewhere and be left high and dry. So I chose Japan. Japan's salary was pretty good. You didn't need a teaching certificate to come here. You still don't. And I thought, Japan is such an expensive place to travel to. When am I ever going to be able to afford to visit Japan? Never. Am I allowed to cut through here? This is like a construction zone. Let's Sunday, maybe nobody's around. This can't be legal. So, Japan it was. But if I live in Japan and get paid in Japanese money, and have a job there, that's probably the only way I'm ever going to be able to actually visit Japan, really. So, at that time there were about 3 main English companies that hired overseas. There's billions of English schools here in Japan, which have to already be here. But there were like, I think 3 maybe, 3 or 4. And I ordered them in order of where I wanted to work. Because I compared the salaries, I compared the reputations. A couple of those schools had dodgy reputations, like Nova. So my number one choice. Alright, there's some, looks like some school kids playing baseball here. Everybody's watching the game. Anyway, so I had my number one choice, and as it happened, they were sending some people on this tour around America to recruit. And they were coming to Atlanta in like a month or something. So I said, great, perfect, it's my number one choice. I had to prepare a teaching demo, like a 5-minute teaching demo, and they gave you tips on that. And, ooh, can I go over this cool bridge? Good try. So I had never taught anything before, but I followed their tips and I created like a little teaching demo, and the other teachers would act as the students, you know. So we all did our demos. Anyway, so I met them at this hotel, me and the other prospective teachers, listened to their presentations and everything. A few of us we all did our teaching demos. I did mine. I thought it went quite well. I was like, wow, I think I have a knack for this. This is really good. And then we broke for like half an hour. And then they were going to hand out envelopes as we left. Like the final thing was hand us our envelopes to say whether we passed to the next stage or not. I was like, yeah, I think I got this. And they gave me my envelope, and I was walking to the car, and I opened it, and it said, no, you were not selected. And I was like, oh, I was crestfallen. So then my number 2 choice, that company, they weren't sending people around to recruit. I had to fly to Toronto and do my interview and teaching demo there, and take a big, genuinely difficult English grammar test and stuff. I actually had to study for that test because, you know, do you remember what modals are? Do you remember what the present pluperfect is? I didn't. I had to go study it. So I went up there, and there were 4 of us prospective teachers, all from the U.S. So we did our, you know, everything. We took the test and did the teaching demos and everything. Had a one-on-one interview with the guy. And went back home. They were going to email us. So they sent me an email and said, well, we're going to put you on our reserve list, maybe, we're not sure. And I was like, come on, man. They said, your English test score was okay. I was like, damn right. Yo. But we're not sure. If we have a place for you, we'll let you know. It's like very like kind of not. It was not a no, but it was definitely not a yes. And I was like, man, I was so determined to do it, to be here in Japan. I had fallen in love with the idea, and so for like every month, every 3 or 4 weeks, I would send the guy an email in Toronto. I was like, anything, any news? When can I go? Can I go? Please let me go to Japan to teach English. And he was always kind of, yeah, well, we're not sure. And finally in one email I said, look, I'm going to Japan to teach English, one way or the other. I actually said this. I hope it is with your company. If not, it'll be some other company. But I really am going to go. And it was around that time he said, all right, you know what? We'll let you go. This was like in August or something. He said, okay, you can go starting next February. So I said, yay. So I was excited for 6 months. 6 months later, I quit my job, and February 19th, 2000, is this a path I can bike on? February 19th, 2004, I flew to Osaka. Oh, actually what happened before that is, okay, you're hired, where do you want to teach? And I said Hokkaido, which is the northern island, the northern, little cooler island up in the north part of Japan. The Canada of Japan, I like to say. And he said that we don't have any locations there. And I said, oh. He said, do you want to teach in Tokyo, or the Chubu area, or Osaka? And I thought, well, Tokyo is too obvious. Everybody goes to Tokyo. I want to go somewhere a little more quirky and interesting out of the way. I've never heard of Chubu. What the heck is Chubu? I'm not going there. I've never heard of it. Osaka, I've heard of that. It's a thing, right? Osaka? Sure. How about Osaka? He said, all right, fine, Osaka. So people here always ask me, Japanese students, always ask me how I ended up in Osaka. And that's really why. It's not because I was drawn to Osaka, especially just because I had heard of it and it wasn't Tokyo, basically. And came here. The whole idea was to do it for like a year, maybe two if I liked it, maybe a couple years. And so after the first year, I thought, oh, definitely I'll stay here another year. So it was a lot of fun. It was very easy to live here. Everybody's really friendly. And then after the second year, I was like, sure, yeah, one more year. So after the third year, I said, okay, this is fun. Maybe I'll come back and do this again someday, but I need a little break. I want to go traveling somewhere. So after about halfway through that year, I left Japan. I just saw some birds, not flew. Where am I? I think I'm on a path. I don't know if I've ever been on this path. I traveled around Southeast Asia for a year, nearly a year. And then I came back to Japan for 3 months on a tourist visa and stayed with friends. And then I left to go to China. I was in China for 3 months, and then Hong Kong for 3 months, and then Macau for 1 month. Then I went to America and stayed there for like 6 months, living at my mom's house. And that was kind of unnerving because I was, let's go back down south here. 36 years old, didn't have any money, had traveled all over the world, and was now living with my mom in Georgia with no prospects. I wasn't looking for a job there, certainly. I thought, I'm going to go to Thailand and teach English some more. Because there's lots of jobs in Thailand, and I'd been to Thailand a lot, been there 2 or 3 times, and I really like Thailand. I was going to go there, and a friend of mine here in Japan said, why don't you stop here on your way to Thailand? And I said, all right. So I stopped here in Osaka, and I started teaching privately. I had a couple of private students that I would meet in coffee shops and stuff. And I was like, this is kind of fun. So I thought, you know what? I think I'll do some more teaching here. And my friend said, you can actually live here until you get on your feet. And I was like, great. So I applied for, it was the company, I think this is right, the company that had been my first choice in Atlanta, those many years ago. This is now 2011. That company, now that I was here and I was established and I was experienced, I went to them. I was like, hey man, you got anything? And they said, sure, we got part-time work in the evenings teaching business English. I said, I've done that. Because I did everything at the first job. Every kind of class, every kind of student. Did online, did in-person. It was all lots of experience. So these other ideas, but I kind of was anchored in Japan by then, in Osaka again. And so that year turned into 2 or 3 years, and I kept getting other little jobs, and I was basically full-time after a while in various full-time hours with like 3 or 4 different companies. And so I'm still here. So now I'm kind of like, that's morphed into being based here, really, not permanently. People ask me if I'm here permanently. Somebody asked me this last week. Are you here permanently based here, or are you just sort of passing through? Like, really, it's both. Like, I've been here 16 years. This is my base, but I'm still just passing through. I still got my eyes on other places and stuff. If I get up to that tree, that'd be a good way to end this vlog. I get to that tree. Let me see here. So that's how I came to Japan. And that's why I'm still in Japan. Now that doesn't explain why I'm biking through this forest in a bicycle that can't handle it. But that's probably because it's Sunday morning and I slept 9 hours this morning and I'm still a bit foggy. But here's the tree. We made it So that's my story. That's how I ended up here in Japan. It's why I'm still here. And it's why I'm probably going to stay here for a while. So thanks for watching. Any questions, please put them in the comments. I'm sure I've left out a bunch of obvious points, but please go here to sign up for my newsletter where you can watch these videos before they're actually published live. Back to work tomorrow. The full-time job continues, and I'll see you next time.